you went to Paris to basically get with another girl and your stupid ass left yourself signed in to my notepad, my iPad. You're an idiot. Hey beautiful people, I'm Mimi, just me. Welcome back to my channel. We are looking good and we are most definitely feeling good. I am back with a story time and it has been a minute since I gave you guys a story time, and this is one I've been hanging on to for years. I was literally like scared to post this because I know that the person that this story time is about has watched my channel in the past, and fingers crossed he doesn't still watch it, but I'm just gonna tell my truth because I know you guys love it. So yeah, I'm gonna give you guys a story time today. Hair info is linked, don't worry about that, I got y'all. But yeah, let's talk, let's get into this video. But just before we do, give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel for more dating, story times, beauty, lifestyle, travel videos. So this is actually one of the weirdest situations ever, and yeah it's the type of stuff that you see in movies and you just think it doesn't happen in real life. It happens to me. Like, if you are new to my channel and you don't know about my story times, go get to know. I have a playlist. You want to laugh, you want to cry, I got everything in there. So I met this guy, I would say about 4 years ago now. By the way guys, don't watch the sounds in the background, my fan's on, it's hot as hell, it is what it is. But I met this guy 4 years ago, let's call him Daryl. So I met this guy Daryl 4 years ago, and I actually kind of met him through YouTube. So he had a very popular video, it had several 100,000 views, and I watched the video and it really resonated with me. Plus I thought he was hot, but I really liked his video. So back then I wasn't even on Instagram or anything, so it came up with his name at the end of the video. Big mistake, or actually it's probably part of his plan. I'm sure he got a lot of girls through that video. So I hit him up on Facebook. I really wasn't expecting anything. You know when you like reach out to people, sometimes they see it, sometimes they don't. I wasn't expecting to hear anything back, but I hit him up on Facebook private message and he got back to me and he was like, yeah, I'm really glad that my video resonated with you, you know, it's something that I put a lot of time into, blah blah blah. And then he was like, if you ever want to meet for a drink, I'm free. And I was like, right, really? I really wasn't expecting that. I just really wanted to let him know that I thought his work was good. Obviously it didn't hurt that he was good looking, but I wasn't expecting that genuinely. So we got to talking via messaging and we agreed to meet up for a drink. And where was the first time I met him? Was this the first time? This was the first time I met him. Okay, so the first night I met him, he was like, he's going to a house party in London, so I should come through if I fancied it, and he'd meet me at a station near where he lives and we'd go to the party together. So I went through maybe about 11 o'clock at night. I went through and he picked me up at the station, I think it was King's Cross station or something like that, and he was like, oh, it's really too early to go to this party, people aren't going to turn up till like 1, so let's just go back to mine and we can chill until 1. And I was like, okay, why didn't you tell me to come at 1 then? So anyway, I went back to his and we were just chilling, hanging out. Now something I will say about Daryl is Daryl was insanely smart. Like, he's probably to date one of the smartest people I've ever met. Like, genius, borderline genius smart, super smart. And he played the piano and he was so good. So that's kind of what we did. Like, when I was back at his, he was playing the piano for me, and I'm a sucker for a guy who is like artistic talented. Like, if a guy like can play instruments, if he can speak languages, I'm just like, ugh, yes, like, you've got something about you. And I was so attracted to that. So he was playing me the piano and he was amazing. And we were just chilling at his, and he was like, do you smoke? And I was like, no. He was like, do you do drugs? I'm like, no, I didn't do anything, sorry. and we were just chilling, having a good time, and then things suddenly got super weird. Like, we were drinking as well, and then he was like, jumped up really suddenly after checking his phone, and he was like, oh, I forgot to check the mail. And by the way, he was actually pretty drunk, and I was like, rah, how am I gonna turn up and you're already pretty drunk? Like, he started drinking before I even got there. And then he just jumped up after checking his phone and was like, oh, I forgot to check the mail, I'm gonna pop down and get my mail. And this is like now like midnight, and I'm just like, you're gonna pop downstairs to get your mail? I was like, okay. So I didn't say anything, but he left the room, went out of his apartment. He owned his own apartment in London as well, so he was very wealthy. I think he just came from a wealthy family as well, but he did have a good job. So he went downstairs, and me, I'm just thinking, that's not right. So I've looked out of his window and I've seen this boy get out of his building, walk towards a car that was parked outside. The car literally drove maybe 100 meters down the road. He got in the car, it drove 100 meters down the road. He got out of the car, and then he started coming back in the building, and there was obviously another guy driving the car. Mate, I was shook. Like, I grabbed my trainers, I started to grab my jacket. If I tell you what was running through my mind, I was like, oh no, this is not going to be the day that these two fuckers try and gang rape me. Talking about he went to get his post, meeting up with some guy downstairs, and now this guy looks like he's parking his car. They're both coming in, they wanna, no, Lord Jesus. I grabbed my trainers, I grabbed my jacket, and I'm running towards the door, and the door just opens and Daryl is back, and he's like, where are you going? And I'm like, home, are you crazy? And then he was like, no, he's blocking my way. He's like, no, you can't go. And I'm like, look, I just saw you, I don't know what you were doing with that guy, but I'm not gonna stick around to find out. Let me go, get out of my way. And he was like, what, you think that like we're gonna hurt you? And I'm like, I'm not waiting to find out. I don't, just move. Like, sidestep and let me go home. Like, I don't know what I've got myself into. And he's like, no, calm down, Mimi, calm down, Mimi, I just went to buy some drugs. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah, calm down, the guy's gone, I just went to just get some drugs. And I was like, oh. And I don't know why, like, that just made me feel really relieved. Like, I don't do drugs, I've never done any drugs, and I don't really like people that do drugs either, but it just, like, I went from being gang raped to, oh, he was just buying some weed. So yeah, I just calmed down after that. I was like, oh, my bad. Sorry. And then we were chilling more, he had the music on, he stopped playing the piano, we were just hanging out, and yeah, he was going into his bedroom. He didn't do the drugs in front of me, he was going to his bedroom, and at the time I thought he just meant he bought weed, but no, child, he bought coke. Like, this boy, it would be a while until I found out that this one was a coke head, like massive coke head. So he was in the next room, he would go and come out doing lines of coke, God knows, honestly I don't know, but by like 1 AM when we were meant to go to this party, this boy was off his face, grabbing and groping me, and I was just like, do you know what, this is too real for me, man. This is like, you are having a party of one all by yourself, I'm just gonna go home. But then I couldn't go home, I'd missed like my last train home, so I was like, okay, cool, let me go to my sister's house. My sister wasn't answering the phone. I was like, crap, I'm gonna have to stay with this idiot. So he was like, look, I know things have gone south, but you can stay over, don't worry, I'll sleep on the sofa, you have my bed, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you didn't do any drugs. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, cool. So the next morning, wake up, he's really cool, I think he makes me breakfast, he's really apologetic, everything's cool, and then I go home. So I'm like, okay, he seems really nice, he's back to normal, he's sober, he's a really nice guy actually. So I'm like, okay, I don't mind seeing you again. So we're texting quite a bit, and then the next time we meet up is with another friend of mine and another friend of his, but we don't really stay and hang out very long. It was just like after work drinks. So yeah, we're getting along again. I'm starting to really like him. I can just tell how super smart. I'm really attracted to people who are smart, and like for me it's just like, rah, you're smart, you're artistic, you're multi-talented. Like, he spoke 5 languages. Yeah, 5 languages, like rah. I was just like, I was so impressed by him. And when he was like sober and not off his head, not coked out, he was a genuinely really nice guy. Like that video on YouTube that I watched, it was a documentary that he produced. So yeah, I can't even just stress how smart this guy was. But anyway, so that night with my friend, she really liked him, we got along really well, and then me and her left, we went for dinner, and then the next time I saw him, he was just like, hey Mimi, can I come over to yours? I don't have anywhere to stay for a few days, do you mind if I come down to yours? And I knew at the time that he sometimes let out his apartment as an Airbnb. So at those times I think he was staying with friends, but this time he came to stay with me. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I had my own apartment. And yeah, like he turned up, he got off the train, and this boy was drunk as a skunk, like so drunk. And I'm just like, look, we need to feed you. We need to get some food in your stomach. I don't know why you are this drunk at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I take him to the kebab shop, which is literally 1 minute away from my apartment, and like he's like stumbling all over the place, like swaying side to side. Next thing I know, we're queuing, we've ordered our kebab, we're queuing and waiting for it, and I kid you not, this guy's front tooth just falls out of his mouth onto the floor. Like I'm like, and it's just an awkward moment where I'm just like, did that just happen? The kebab guy is like, did that just happen? The only person that didn't really give a was Daryl. Daryl was just like and then I'm like, are you not gonna pick your tooth off the floor? Like, what is this? And then he's like, oh, and he picks his tooth off the floor, and he's just like casually holding it in his hand and smiling like smiling with his tooth missing. And I'm still so confused because like nobody hit him, nothing happened. How can his tooth just fall out of his mouth? And he's like, oh, it's an implant, something, one of those ones that you just sort of screw in. So I was like, oh right, I didn't know you had a fake tooth. Daryl. So anyway, we get the kebab, we go back to my apartment, and then this boy is like, where do you keep your glasses? So I'm just like, they're that cupboard. He grabs a glass, fills it with a little bit of water, put his tooth inside it and put it on top of my fridge. And I'm just looking like, rah, is this for real? Is this boy having me on? He is just like soaking his tooth on top of my fridge. Like, this is normal behavior, running around my apartment with like this massive hole. But yo, I liked him so much, I just didn't even care. I was just like, whatever, this one, there's something wrong with him, but it's okay. So he spent the next 2-3 days with me, and we just like got along really well. I had fun, and I think he told me he was going to Paris. Oh, so he worked for a company that he worked kind of remotely, so he had it, he didn't have his laptop or anything. Well, I tell you, this boy was an alcoholic and a cokehead, highly functioning though, highly functioning. Those people that can be like massive addicts but can still get up in the morning, do their job, and like for the most part you wouldn't ever really know. Like, it took me a long time before I realized that this boy, something just wasn't quite right. And he was telling me some stories while he was staying with me. Like, he had kind of been recruited by MI6, which is obviously like the UK's intelligence agency. Crazy, right? But I actually believe it is actually true, because he had some really crazy connections. I saw pictures of him with diplomats, like, so MI6 had got in touch with him to try and get, anyway, but he basically got chucked out of MI6 as an informant because he kept failing drug tests. So yeah, this boy was like crazy. Like, his younger brother is so famous in the UK, and I think as well there was a little bit of resentment there because his brother's so successful, so rich, so wealthy, so famous, and he is super smart, super intelligent, and where he could have probably been just as successful, if not more successful, he just completely wasting his life away because of drugs and alcohol. But anyway, while he was at mine, he didn't really do any drugs. He drank a lot, but he didn't do any drugs because I just, I don't entertain that. But anyway, he was working remotely, and to access his emails, he used my iPad at the time. So he logged into my iPad, forgot to log out. Rookie mistake. But anyway, like after a few days of mine, he's like, babe, I need to go to Paris. He spoke French, so I think he had little friends in Paris. So it's like, I need to go to Paris, I need to go see some of my friends out there, plus I need to do a bit of work. I'm like, okay, cool, let me know when you're back, and we'll talk. And then this boy goes to Paris, and then when you're like texting someone and you just blanking, you getting nothing back, like he was not replying my messages, and I was like, oh, that's a bit strange since you were basically staying with me for 3 days and I thought we were really getting along. So I noticed that he was still logged onto my iPad. So I've gone on his emails, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I snooped the hell out of his emails. I'm sorry, y'all. I believe trust is discovered. If I snoop and I don't discover anything, I'll discover trust then. Okay. So I've snooped, and like I'm just seeing all these back and forth emails between this girl, can't remember her name, but she was French, she lived in Paris, and it was basically initially them talking about when they were going to meet. He was saying, I'm coming to Paris, when can I meet you? She was like, yeah, you can come on this date, my housemates will be away, here's like the code to let yourself into my apartment, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, rah, so basically you've gone to Paris to hook up with this girl, talking about you're going for work. Okay. So then like I'm seeing messages like, hey babe, last night was so fun, I'm gonna come back and see you again later today, let's do it again. All this crazy ish emailing. I don't even know why they're emailing, but they are emailing. And I'm just like, so basically you went to Paris to cheat on me. Like, I know obviously we're not boyfriend and girlfriend, but I'm just like, rah, like you went to Paris, like we've been seeing each other for a few weeks now, you went to Paris to basically get with another girl, and your stupid ass left yourself signed in to my notepad, my iPad. You're an idiot. So after like reading a lot of back and forth emails between them, I'm just like, do you know what, it's very evident what's going on, I'm done. But curiosity killed the cat, and I couldn't stop snooping. It's about 4 days now he's been in Paris, hasn't replied a single text message, and I am going back, way back into his emails and everything. Until today he doesn't know that I did this, but Daryl, now you know. So I'm snooping through his stuff, and I'm seeing basically that, yeah, like my suspicions are confirmed. He's got an alcohol and drug substance problem. His family's all aware of it. He's been to rehab a few times. The family is very wealthy, they're trying to get help for him. He's been to rehab a few times. Now they're considering hypnosis. So his mom's considering hypnosis for him. She's booked him into classes. His sister's also emailing. She's saying that basically she's had some issues as well with substance abuse. So if it goes well with him, she'd like to try it as well. Then there's messages from another girl who seems to be his girlfriend, his actor. Basically, he was cheating on his girlfriend with me and cheating on me with this one in Paris, like this boy. So this is girlfriend. He was saying like, baby, you've been through there with me through everything, I really appreciate your support, blah 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 blah. I think it was long distance, so he wasn't seeing her often. I'm just like, rah, so how are you going to be cheating on this girl who has basically been supporting you for years through what seems like some really down, spirally, really effed up stuff that I'm not going to talk about, because obviously that's his private life, but it was all there on his emails. I'm like, rah, this boy is really twisted. Like, he has serious problems, like so many girls. Like his sister was saying how, you know, he has no problem getting girls but can't seem to keep a relationship. And like, just like, anyway, I can't talk too much about what I read, but basically I was just like, rah, okay, now everything makes sense. So when this boy now got back from Paris, he starts texting me like, hey, my phone died, I didn't have my charger, can I come to yours? I swear to you, he never heard from me again. Can you come to mine? After your work trip to Paris was basically you just going there to that girl. Seems like you are really good, damn it, all the emails I saw, and then found out you had a girlfriend that you had been with for years and years and years. You were lying to me about, you know, you had this drug problem, your life was basically ridiculous. You were damn near homeless actually as well, which was just a little bit crazy to me. So I never got back in touch with him after that. Like, we're still friends on Facebook, and sometimes he still likes some of my stuff that I post, but yeah, that was how I met Daryl, through YouTube. Thought he was going to gang rape me, realized that his tooth was fake and he was just coke-headedly walking up and down the place, happy to be toothless, rinsing his tooth in my glass cup on top of my fridge, carrying his lying ass to go cheat on me in Paris while leaving himself logged into my iPad, and realizing this boy was going through hypnosis therapy to help cure himself of his issues. So like, I'm not making light of addiction because addiction is obviously very serious, but I remember seeing like maybe 5 months ago now that he posted his girlfriend, and he was like 8 years strong, I love you baby, and I just burst into laughter like, rah, 8 years strong, you know, excuse me, what was happening 4 years ago? Like, it's crazy to me. Anyway, so yeah, that's my story time. That was Daryl. I never heard from him, like I never got in touch with him after that again, apart from a few likes on Facebook and Instagram. He probably has no idea why I completely blanked him after he got back from Paris. That's why I blanked your ass, Daryl, because I read your dirty past. You gotta be smarter. You gotta log in, log out. How you gonna leave yourself logged in? Like, rookie error. If you're gonna be a cheating, lying hoe, you gotta, you know, play the game well. So I've held on to that story time for a long time. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to share it, but yeah, that's how Daryl did me dirty. Yeah, you did me dirty, Daryl. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. It's a bit different, but yeah, what can I say? If you found it funny, if you found it interesting, don't forget to comment below. Let me know your thoughts. I'm adjusting me. We are looking good. We are most definitely feeling good. Make sure you subscribe before you leave, and all my hair info will be linked. I'll catch you guys soon. Ciao.
Classic. Oh na na na, oh na na na.